was gonna kind of talk to you about. I know you guys have been, you've been doing what you've been doing for so long. I know you've been sampled a million times, and now that you're making your own records, is that something that you are? Did it ever trip you out as far as you know? I guess what I'm asking is, how do you feel about the old ways versus the new ways, and does the new ways annoy you, or do you feel like whatever it takes is cool, even if it
Well,
is pulling your
that
shit?
I don't know if I don't know if it's a new way or old way when you take and outright take somebody's music and
Yeah.
make new music out of it and don't credit the
Oh,
original
certainly.
music. So I have a problem with that. There's been, to my knowledge, there's been well over 170 some odd pieces of meter music
Yeah.
that's
And
been sampled and has made money,
yeah,
for
but
the
I assume
artists
that
that
you're
did it.
greenlighting that, or
No,
um,
no, man. I
you
tell you
go
what,
after it after the fact.
we never even know about it, and if it wasn't for a friend of mine, named Tracy Freeman, who at one time when he was in his in his early 20s, he was working at a music store in New Orleans, out in the east,
Hmm.
and they had a hip hop department in the store, and the kids would come in and they would be listening to music, and Tracy say, "Oh, that's the meters," and so Tracy started making notes,
Yeah.
of the stuff, and he sent me a list of stuff. He said, "Man, you know about this stuff?" And I said, "No." And then
But I do
I would
now.
send that I would send that
Call my
information
lawyer.
to our then manager at the time, Marshall Sehorn, and apparently some of that stuff was being licensed by Marshall. Marshall was licensing that stuff, but wasn't telling the band about it.
Ooh.
So the players, the songwriters, he was getting what you call a master's license. He was given a master's license, which is different from giving. I think I'm saying
Publishing.
this wrong.
Yeah.
I think I'm saying this wrong. It's not a master's license. He would like give permission for people to use these sections of the songs, but because it's not a melody or something like that,
Mm.
then yeah, it is called. I think it is called a master's, like master usage or use
Okay.
masters or something like that. But maybe it's one of your viewers, when they check it out, might can credit us and correct
Yeah.
my output about what that is. But in other words, the group, the band received nothing, just the owner of the publisher.
Mm.
And at that time, most of our music was owned by Marshall Sehorn, C-Sync Music. So um, almost, not most of it, almost all of the Meters earliest recordings
Oh,
was
I'm sorry
owned
to
by
hear that. Honestly, I figured that that a lot of the stuff had been greenlit because it seems to be so widely known, and it brings up all these odd questions of like if somebody just takes a snare tone, can you is that like
No,
ownership there,
to
or but
my
like, they're
knowledge,
they're chopping like chunks of your
yeah,
stuff.
yeah. To my knowledge, no. That's a no. But
Yeah.
I heard something the other day. There was a drum fill in a song. Now I can't remember the name of the song now. Um, but there was a drum song, it got named because it got used a whole lot in
Yeah.
the thing. But it was called the Amen fill.
Yep. Yeah, I've heard of that before. There's a few of them. Like there's a breakbeat one that's been used in electronic music. It's been slowed down. It's been sped up. So use all these
Yeah,
different types of everything from like drum and bass to hip hop. Yeah, I mean, there obviously the funky drummer break has been used a million times, and that's technically
yeah.
not a melodic
But
piece, so it's probably
the
not
guy,
copywritten. But
no, but the other day I heard on a radio station um, that the drummer who played that fill and the guy who produced the original song
mhm.
just got paid a lot of money.
Oh, good. Well, glad they're tracking it
So
down.
yeah, so I'm not sure, but they wouldn't go into details how, what
Mm.
they did. And I even called Zigaboo and I asked him about it because I asked him because
Oh,
You
he's
know,
probably
there's
been
a
jacked a million times.
Jack, you know, and I thought that
You too.
he would be more aware of that situation, but he didn't know anything. He said no, he never heard about it. And I told him, I
Yeah.
said, man, go look it up and see if it's something that you could do. Just 'cause I never thought you could actually copyright a drum fill, but it sounded like
I mean,
these guys had done that,
yeah.
and apparently all those people that's been using that amen, it's
The
called an
amen.
amen
Yeah. The
fill,
amen break. Yeah. Amen Phil. Yeah.
amen break. That's what, yeah, something
Yeah.
like that.
I've heard this. I think it must have come up in a music news story that I remember hearing. But
Yeah. Well,
yeah, that's wild.
they're getting paid.
Yeah. Well, I hope it comes back to you too, my friend. Because like I said, I know there's a lot of them out there. That's why I was curious to ask that question about how you felt about sampling and because, since your stuff has been used so much.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the whole sampling world. Um, I mean, I believe, but then there's another part of it that kind of turned me off was the disc jockeys.
Yeah.
You know, the disc jockeys hear this music and they know where those songs come from. You would think
And then you
that
think they
it
would at
would
least
be
say something.
they would at least say, "Well, you like that? Well, check out where it
Check
came
out the
from."
book. Yeah. Check out the
You
meters.
know,
Meters of plug movement. That's where it came
you
from.
know, if they did that, then it would kind of like legitimize.
Yeah.
You know, it would probably drive people to go check out
Certainly.
that. You know,
Yeah.
so but I kind of started getting a bitter taste in my mouth behind disc jockeys that that promoted the hip hop, the whole hip hop, um,
Without calling out the credit. Yeah.
without calling out that these guys are, because this, man, that's sampling is another word for stealing,
Yeah.
because when you take my, it's my performance.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't like, you know, you took my performance and you took and wrote another song to my performance.
Yeah.
So actually,
And some of
if
them.
at worst case scenario, you should pay me for playing the session.
There you go. Well, the other thing too is like I've listened to some where I'll hear like a snippet that's used as an element in a song where they write things around it, where it has its own melodic element. In other words, if you took out that sample, the song would stand on its own with at least some sort of melodic and rhythmic sides. But then I've heard other songs where, I mean, that's the hook. That's the whole thing. Like
Exactly,
the whole
exactly.
chorus of the song is basically someone singing or rapping over the top, or not, or sometimes not even doing that, like singing along, or calling along to what was already there. And to me, that's like, that's a Stevie Wonder song. That's
Right,
not even
right,
your
exactly.
song. You literally just took an entire section of a Stevie Wonder song or a metered song, and you just put your name on it, and then whatever did what you did. So yeah, some of it I listen to and I go like, okay, that was a creative use of a sound piece. But a lot of it I look at it and I go like, you're just sharking.
Yeah, right. Well, I mean, Jackson 5, all the way back then when they were boys, kids, you know, they used the intro to Sissy Strut in the middle, and a drum break going into a drum break, and one of their big hits, you know.
Well,
I think it was your love to be your own, something like that.
one of those. Oh, I'll have to dig into that one.